Hello, welcome back. Thanks for joining me again in part 2. So this is what we've got so far. Brilliant. What we're going to add is the ability for kind of sticky keys, so you can go like that. And then, so you hold shift to get them to appear, and then press them to disappear. Feature 1. Feature 2, spacebar. Give a random dot. Nice little feature. You can also hold control and spacebar to make bigger ones. So the small ones, smaller random, bigger random. And then the final feature is colour changing. So we can hold control and press any of the number keys to get every single one to change colour. Or we can hold down certain ones and change the colours individually. So you can have a bit of this going on. And then you're going to change these into whatever you want. Brilliant. So that's the object of today's lesson. First we'll do the sticky keys. They're actually quite easy. And how it's done is it's not actually these divs that are shown. The ones that stay around are another shape. So we go, yep. So we want another div with the same class, and instead of shape small g, it's going to be shape big G. Because obviously when you press shift, event.key becomes capital letter. And all it needs is this. So that will light up the same shape, but unfortunately this one will also get rid of it. And we're going to get round that by doing a little clever little trick by saying to lowercase here. So when we add the class of lit, we're adding it to whatever shape is given. So if that's capital G, we're giving it to capital G. If it's small g, small g. But when we're removing it, we're always removing it from the lowercase shape. So basically, you know, capital G gets added, but small g gets taken away. So small g, capital G stays. It doesn't get taken away because only the lowercase one does. That's all very good, but we need to remove it when we press it again. And to do this, we just do it up here. Oh yeah, document got element. Basically, this exact thing. Actually, more like this one. So basically, every time G is pressed now, it's going to remove this from a letter. Well, what am I talking about, right? So I want, when small g is pressed, I want it to remove the class of lit from big G. So all we're going to do is change this event key here to uppercase. And that should work, so it's not working. So I cannot read perfect class lead of no. Alright, that's not even a function, that's why. So yep, small g and then big G, hold shift, stays, press it again, it gets rid of it. Brilliant. So yeah, that is that completely fixed. We just need to create new divs for every single one, but with the class stays the same because it wants to share its same visual properties, but we just change the ID so it can be accessed by this new one. So I'll just copy and paste that, won't be a minute. Voila, we've got all 26 letters twice, and this should work now. can do, can do them individually. And it all works. So that's that done. The next thing we want to do is spacebar. So we're going to create a new div at the bottom here with ID of shape space. So we can't quite do this. I don't think so anyway. But anyway, this is how I've done it. Yeah, because we need to do special stuff with this anyway. So what we're going to do, we're going to create an if statement. We're going to say if event key is equal to space, then we're going to handle this spacebar event here. So suppose first here we could just say get element ID instead of the event key. We're just going to use space. We're going to add class lit to it. Yep, that should all be good. But the problem is it's got no properties. It's got no width, height, top or left. So we're going to have to create them in here and style it up on the fly. And the way we're going to do this is by first creating a variable of this actual element, because we're going to be using it many times. So it makes sense just to find it here and then use it from the variable from then on. And then instead of this thing here, we just replace this with space, and that works just the same. So the way we change the styling on something is just simply by going, space.style, and then we can say .width equals, 200 pixels, space.style.height equals 200 pixels. See what happens. Okay. I'll show you, but I think I know what's happening. We're just getting too many errors, and because this is throwing an error, then it doesn't even get to this or this, because an error is thrown here and the function's cancelled. So if we're going to do a quick fix, it's not the best, but it works. I'm just going to put this in a try catch. So basically this tries to do this, but if not, it's okay. It doesn't even throw an error. We could put an error in here, but we're not even going to. We're just going to put in a try catch statement, and we're going to do the same here. What do we do? And it's just throwing an error because there's no such thing as the shape that we're looking for. So this throws an error because it can't find that element. But basically this should work now. Yeah, it works. Doesn't work down here, so we'll fix this as well. And what have we got? Yep, so we press spacebar and the shape shows. Brilliant, awesome. And we're just going to do the same if statement here, but at the bottom, and we're going to remove the class. We can probably we don't need to create a separate variable for it, so we'll just literally so so we're getting the elements shape space and we're removing class lit if the key is a space bar. Yep, works good. Now we want to do something else. We want to create a random position for it. So we'll use top and left like that. We're going to use something called math random to get a random number. So that on its own gives a random number between 1 and 0. We don't want that. We want it between 1 and between 0 and 1, that's 0 and 1, but we want it between 0 and 100. So we'll times that by 100, simple as, and then just get a percentage sign on the end. And we'll give that to this as well, so it's a different random number for the left and the top. Oh yes, it's working. It's working. So, but again, we actually want it random width and height as well. But we can't do this like this because that'd give a different random number and it'd be a wonky shape every time. So we're going to create a variable, call it size, and have our math.random in there. And what? So we want it. So that'll give us a random number from 0 to 10, and then we'll add 5. So 0 will become 5 and 10 will become 15. So that gives us a random number from 5 to 15. And we'll just replace these two, size, and then just add our view widths, which is our unit on the end. If you've noticed, I don't use semicolons at the end of each line. You can if you want, but I just stopped doing it and nothing happened, so I carried on. Shoot me. Oh, it's working. It's working. Slightly different sizes each time. Very nice. I'll just add one more thing in, just under this size. I'm going to say if event.control key, then we want to double the size. What is it? Times equals 2. And that should be good. Well, doesn't it? So that's small and then big and then small, big. Right, that works. I think that's nicely done. So what next? Okay, we're going to do one more thing actually. If you notice this spacebar here, it's a bit jittery, and that's because it's the same div, you know. So if I do this, it has time to fade out. But if I do lots, there's no time to fade out because it's because we're only working with one div and it's becoming the next div straight away. But we're going to solve this by just making a few more and naming them all a different number. So now instead of just shape space, we're going to do shape space plus the number, and the number is going to be a variable. Call it space count, and at the top we can just define this var space count, and it's going to start off as 1. So then we just need to do it here as well. So yeah, that should work exactly as it did before, but the magic, so to speak, is going to come here. We're just going to increase it by 1 every time it's pressed, or every time it's let go. But yeah, same thing. And then we're going to just say if it equals, well, how many have we got? 7. If it equals 7, then we're going to reset it down to 1. And I just press Shift Alt and F there just to auto format it to keep it neat. And just if you didn't know, if there's only one statement being executed from an if, like here we've got loads of statements being executed inside an if statement, so we need curly brackets. But if not, you can just put it straight after and just keep it on one line like that. But anyway, so this now, see there's more than one screen, more than one on a screen at a time, which is nice, which is what we want. And one thing I'm going to do as well is I just held Command and Alt there, press down to move the cursor in a line, but I'm going to give them all a class of space And then in here, I'm just going to change the transition time slightly. Opacity. And I'm actually going to, yeah, quite a long one. And then when it's lit and space, I'll probably keep it the same. I think so, yeah. Just to give it a, or even less actually. So I'm going to make them fade in even faster. Probably there. Yeah, that's good. So now they just hang about a bit so you can see a lot of them on screen at the same time, which I think gives it a nice effect. So the last feature we're going to add is colour changing. So at first I wanted to do it by adding classes, you know, adding some kind of colour 1, colour 2 class to each shape dynamically, and that would sort it out. Turns out just a slightly easier way is to use the name property. So basically, you know, give something a name of colour 1 dynamically, or colour 2, or colour 3, blah 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 blah. And that just means when you're resetting it, you don't have to remove, because it's already got a class of O and you don't want to remove that. And otherwise you'd have to remove colour 1, colour 2, colour 3, colour 4, up to 9 every single time just to make sure it was blank. I think so anyway. That's the conclusion I came to. So we're just going to do it with name. And we'll just use this G1 to practice on again. So if we give this a name of colour 1, and then in the style sheet we go div, and these little square brackets to mean attribute, and say name equals colour 1. Then we can style this with a background colour of blue. Let's see what we've got. It's not working. Okay, I found out what was up. I just put it on the capital G instead of the small g. So I'll just sort that out. Oops. Come on. Alright. Yeah, so that's working. So we know that yeah, I was just showing you there that it works, that if you give something a name, then you can change its style here. So now we need to change its style with the JavaScript. So we want to only run this code if the event key is a number. And we do that. It's not, I mean, it is fairly simple, but it's not as simple as you would think. So the function called is not a number, and this gives true or false, and we want to actually do the opposite of that. So if it's not a number, so if it is a number, and in this we want to put the event key, but that alone, even if it is a number, this function will tell it's not a number because it's giving us a string as a number instead of just a pure number like this. So we need to change this into a number using a parseInt, which is a function, and all that. So that should tell us whether it's a number or not. Let's see. So nothing, and then you get that, and you get number. So this is only running if it's a number. That's working. So if you look at this example, the way it was done is, if they're held down and we press a key, then the code's changed, but the others don't change. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for all elements with the class name lit And this is a nice simple way to find all the shapes that are lit up so we can do something with them. And we're going to save that as a variable. So this is going to give us an array. Whenever you use get elements by class name, it gives you an array back. And what we're going to do is we're going to cycle through this array. So when I is less than the length of the array, so we're going to cycle through this array, and at each one I want to access the element of the array, and I want to change the name, and you do that with something called set attribute. And I want to change the attribute of name. What do I want to change it to? Color concatenated with the event.key, which will be a number. So we'll just do a few more colors here, just so we've got something to work with. We'll go red, purple, whatever you want. So this should work just about. Nope. Oh well. So let's see what this is putting out. See if it's actually working. So we're getting shapes. Yeah. Okay, I know what I've done. I've just I've not written the for loop properly, but this should work. Yes. And they stay lit, and then these will stay. So one problem with this though is this works, but then if I do shift, then they're different because it's only changed to one of them. And that was quite a nice effect, but it's not what I want. And I also want to be able to change the colour of them, and then do the same. What I'm going to do for this is I'm going to get the class of this, of each lit div, and then I'm going to find elements with the similar class and change their attribute as well. So I'm going to create a variable called letter. So we're getting the class list of each lit div, getting the class list, and instead of adding or removing, we're just going to use it as an array. And the first, because it's only got one class, but it's still an array, so the first element will just be a letter, so it'll just be either a G or whatever. Then get element by ID, and we're going to use shape and this letter here, which you think is similar to what we're doing before, but the kind of, and then we're going to set attribute just like before. But the thing we're doing differently is we're going to do it twice. First we're going to do to uppercase, well, to lowercase, whatever. And then next we're going to do it to uppercase. So this is just getting the class name, which is just a letter, and then accessing shape, small letter, and then shape, big letter. So no matter what it is, if it's a capital G, it'll be turned to lowercase, and if it's a lowercase that will be turned to uppercase, but both will always be done. So let's see if that works. So work in, do 3, change the colour, and then the shift ones are also done. Very nice. And then here you can shift these, change the colour, and then these, yeah, still done like this. Anyway, you can create nice patterns. And that's pretty much it. I'll just do one more thing. Just the one if control is pressed, if event dot control key, then I want to change every shape to that colour. So I'm going to get every single div on the page, which you do document dot get elements by tag name here. I'm just going to have div, you know, it's general, but it's what we're using. I'm going to save this in a variable, and then I'm going to cycle through it again. So yeah, standard for loop, same as before. Loops are just going to change each one of them. Set attribute. And I'll copy this. So we're getting every single div on the page, cycling through them and setting all the attribute of the name to this colour. Let's see. Yay, it works. And we can change them all to, you know, red or whatever, and then we can change this one to super red. I like it anyway. You don't have to like it. I think it's kind of cool. Anything else? No, I think that's it really. That's pretty much everything. We have now created our very own music visualizer.